Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Grade 5 Extended French Virtual Information Session for parents. This evening's session is for our Brampton, Caledon, and Dufferin regions. We are glad to have you all here with us today. Happy that you are considering the Grade 5 Extended French program for your child. We hope that by the end of the session that you will have made that decision to enroll your child for next year in Grade 5. There are many great benefits, and we hope that you truly will consider this program after we have presented it to you as a viable option for your child. So thank you very much for being here. Just so you know, cameras and microphones have been disabled. Therefore, you will not be able to use your microphone, so there's no need to raise your hand during the session. And I'll speak to how you can share information or ask your questions. So warm welcome to families interested in the extended French programs at Holy Family, St. Andrew, St. Monica, St. Anne, and St. Jean-Prévost. Thank you very much for being with us this evening. I would like to thank you for supporting your French language education. That's very important. This is the first step. We also want to give a warm welcome to any principals who may be here from any of our extended French schools as well. So thank you for being here again. And just an introduction about the team and who's here. Our FSL program team is comprised of 3 people, myself, Dulcie Cardoso. I'm the academic coordinator for FSL programs here in Dufferin Peel. I also have Marie-Claire Makoju, who is one of our academic consultants for FSL, and also Diego Pardo, who is another academic consultant we have for FSL programs here in Dufferin Peel. So thank you very much for everyone supporting this program. So tonight's information session is for Dufferin Peel Catholic District School Board Extended French programs in the Brampton, Caledon, and Dufferin regions. And these are the schools. I've already mentioned them: Holy Family, St. Andrew, St. Anne, St. Monica, and St. Jean-Prévost. So we will be speaking to families of these schools. However, if you are not from these regions and you're from Mississauga, because you may have missed the first one, not a worry. The information is essentially the same as is the application process. So this online session is being recorded by our FSL team, so there's no need for you to record it. So we ask you not to do that. Questions will be going into the chat at the end of the session, so after we've shared all of our information. As I've said, there's no need to raise your hand because we won't be able to call on you to share through the microphone, as those have been disabled. But when you do share in the chat, we ask that you please not use any student names when asking those questions, just because we want to respect the privacy confidentiality of our students. So we ask you not to do that. But this is being recorded and will be available to you in our Dufferin Peel Extended French webpage as well. So we will start as a community of faith. So I'm going to ask you to join me in the sign of our prayer in the name of the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Loving God, we gather today as a community of faith and learning, united in our shared hope for the future of our children. Thank you for the gift of language, culture, and the opportunity to grow in knowledge and understanding. Bless the parents and guardians here today as they seek to make wise and loving decisions for their children's education. Grant them clarity of mind, peace of heart, and confidence in your guidance. We ask you to bless the educators who dedicate themselves to nurturing the minds and spirits of our students. May their work be filled with joy, patience, and purpose. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. And I'm going to share with you in a moment. I'm sharing this for a second. I'm going to share with you in a moment the land acknowledgement, because we do want to acknowledge the land in which we reside. Sagas of Credit Nation. However, our land acknowledgement is going to be said in French, and it is being said by a former Dufferin Peel student who was part of our French program and continued her studies up into grade 12. So when you hear this land acknowledgement, you can hear her fluency, her proficiency with the French language. So take note of that, because that could be your child at the end of grade 12 if they continue through the program, because we do want them to become functionally bilingual at the end of grade 12. So please take note when I play the land acknowledgement.
Commençons en reconnaissant cette terre ainsi que notre responsabilité de prendre soin et de respecter tout ce que la création nous offre pour vivre. Visée par les traités, cette terre sur laquelle nous vivons, travaillons et subvenons à nos besoins est la terre ancestrale des Mississauga et Anishinaabe, aussi connus aujourd'hui comme les Mississaugas de Caledon. Ils sont les gardiens légitimes et les titulaires du titre de cette terre. Nous reconnaissons aussi que cette terre est riche en qui précède l'arrivée des Européens, ainsi qu'en relations qui incluent ceux des Anishinaabe et des Onkohone. Depuis l'arrivée des Européens, cette terre a été et continue de devenir le foyer des peuples autochtones et non autochtones. En tant que communauté responsable, nous croyons que tout le monde est sacré et possède une valeur et une dignité fondamentale et incommensurable. Le colonialisme a déplacé et dépossédé les peuples autochtones de leur terre ancestrale et continue à nier leurs droits humains fondamentaux, leur dignité et leur liberté. Nous sommes engagés au sacrement de réconciliation, à faire réparation et à respecter nos obligations, devoirs et responsabilités soulignées dans le Caledon Nagana Wampum. Ce traité nous guide à maintenir activement des relations mutuellement bénéfiques et affirme un respect et un soin collectif de la terre, l'eau, les animaux les uns les autres pour garantir une bonne vie pour nos futurs descendants.
Okay, so let's get into all of the pieces that are important to this application registration process. We'll start with eligibility for the extended French program. So there are two pieces that are important to confirm if your child is eligible for the grade 5 extended French program next September. So the first thing is that this is for children who are in grade 4 right now. So your child should be in grade 4 and will be beginning grade 5 in September of 2026. So that is the first piece of eligibility for this program. The second one is baptism. So either the student or at least one parent must be baptized in the Roman Catholic Church or in an Eastern Rite Church at the time of registration. So you do have some time to, if you're looking to be baptized, have some time to do that before the registration, but that is a requirement, and you will be asked for proof of baptism at the time of registration. So those are the two pieces. Must be in grade 4, and either the student or one of the parents must be baptized as Roman Catholic or in the Eastern Rite Church. So take note of the structure of the program itself. So it is a 50-50 model. So 50% of instruction is in French and 50% of instruction is in English. If you take notice of the subject areas here, and this is all information available on our Dufferin PL Extended French webpage as well, you'll see that in grade 5 and 6, the French language subjects are the French language arts, science, and social studies. When they get to grade 7 and 8, it's no longer social studies. It now becomes history and geography. The English languages that are taught throughout elementary extended French are religion and family life, math, and the English language arts program. And then schools do have the option to provide the following subjects in either English or French if they are able to do so. So it could be health and phys ed or any of the arts subjects available as well. So any of those can be taught in either language, depending on if the school is able to provide that. So please grab a pen, pencil. These are the important dates, the key dates you need to remember when it comes to the application process and registration for the grade 5 extended process. I will also be putting this up at the end during the Q&A session that we do when all the information is presented, but I will go through these dates with you now, and we do repeat some of them throughout this session as well. So the first step really is the virtual extended French parent session we're having with you this evening. Our first one was November 4th with our Mississauga region, and today with you, the Brampton, Dufferin, and Caledon region. So that's the first important step, is to share all of the information, important dates with you. So now this is where you want to really take note of these dates because they're very important. The first one is November 19th, 2025. This is when the online extended French applications are going to be opening, and they open right at 9 a.m. So you can start to submit your application at that time on that date. So they open that particular date and time. The next date is also very important, December 4th, 2025. This is the deadline for extended French online applications to be submitted. And the time you see there, 3 p.m., is set in stone. After 3 p.m., if you try to access the application, you will not be able to submit it, even if the link is still available on the web page, because that's where we're going to have those links. you will not be able to submit the application after 3 p.m. It automatically shuts off. So make sure you've taken note of that date and the time as well for the extended French application. A few days following that, December 8th, 2025, if needed, and only if needed, any schools that exceed the capacity of applications for the number of classes are permitted, and I'll explain what that means in a little bit. If we have scenarios like that, those schools will go to a school-based random selection. And so they will have to do a lot of reversion where we will place students, and some may have to go on the wait list. On that same date, after the random selection is completed, we will be communicating results to schools, but we will also be communicating the results to you, not just for the random selection, but for all of the applications that have been submitted. So even those schools that did not require a random selection, that is the date in which you will receive a confirmation or whether or not your child has been placed, or if they're on a wait list if the school did indeed go into a random selection. So December 8th is a very important date for you to be checking your emails, because that is how our communication is shared with all parents. Following that, if you're going to need to make a decision in terms of accepting or declining a placement if it becomes available. And so you'll need to contact the school, and you have till December 15th to accept or decline that placement. We do bear in mind that sometimes things happen, there are extenuating circumstances. So if you need a few more days, or if you need to go into the new year, because this is right at the end, just let the school know what's going on. And as long as we know that you're going to be accepting, or that you're not available to accept at that time, we will honor that and we will keep it, but you need to have that conversation with the school first, okay? And then the registration deadline. So this is actually registering for the program at the school is January 19th, 2026. So in the new year, you have till the 19th to register your child for the program at that extended French school. And again, extenuating circumstance happens. If you're on vacation, if you're still waiting for a baptism to happen, let the school know. I'm sure we can be flexible with some of that, but we do need to keep our deadlines there so that we move everything in a timely fashion. Okay. But again, we do understand sometimes things happen. And so as long as you're communicating that with the school, that's what's important. Okay. So again, I'll put these dates up at the end. So I'm just going to go over the 5 steps to the extended French program, what it is that you need to ensure that you've done everything you need to apply for this program. So we're going to go through those 5 steps right now, starting with the first one, where you're going to make a little visit to the Dufferin Catholic District School Board Extended French web page. So to go here, you're just going to go to the Dufferin website, so dpcdsb.org. And then from there, you'll click on Programs, Languages, and Extended French. Okay. And that's where you're going to find all of the pertinent information you need to help make decisions, information that may answer some of your questions, information such as the curriculum you saw just there in the previous slide. All of that information is here. And this is where the links to the applications will also be available. So you do need to visit this page to learn more about the program and to access any other documents that you need, because there is one, which is step 2 we want to talk to you about. And that is the the extended French information sheet. So we have this reflection tool, that's what I'm going to call it, where you can download, print, or at least have it displayed up for you and your child to look at, to just go into step 3 and to really just reflect and discern on your child's skills, on their development, asking them questions. Do you love learning languages? Are you enjoying your French class and your core French class right now? Do you want a little bit of a challenge? Like, having those conversations with your child is very important. They, part of the success is their motivation and their wanting to be in the program as well. So you want to have that conversation. You'll see that it's divided into a dark gray column and a much lighter gray column. So the darker gray column is questions to have to ask your child, or to reflect upon some statements there. And then the other piece is for you, the parent. So it is really a joint conversation, something for you to do together and discern. So step 2, just download, print, or display it. And then step 3, reflect before applying. Once you've done that, once you think you're ready to go, and you and your child have decided, yes, I want to give extended French a go, that's when you're going to go to step 4 and you are going to apply. And again, it's on the Dufferin Peel Extended French webpage. That's where the links will be live for you to apply. So there are the dates again, very important. November 19th, 9 a.m. till December 4th at 3 p.m. Again, 3 p.m. is a set in stone timeline. So you need to be on that form before 3 p.m. To help you select the correct school, and I'm pretty sure the application will redirect you to the correct school based on the home school or the current school that your child's at. When you input that, it is going to direct you to the correct extended French school. However, you might want to just see where the school is located. You might want to find out what other schools are can be a part of that program. So this is where you're going to check on that extended French webpage. We have boundary maps, so you'll get more precise location of where the schools are. And we also have the feeder schools chart. So it shows you all of the schools that would feed into one specific extended French site. So you can see all those different schools. And it's just good to confirm. In case an error comes up, even in the application, we would have to be aware of. So please do check those boundary maps and those feeder school charts. But just to give you an idea right now of where the schools are located. So we have Holy Family, which is located in Bolton, and then we have St. Andrew that's located in Orangeville. So those are schools much further to the north. And then in Brampton, we have St. Anne, which is Brampton West. When we say west, we're talking west of the 410. So that's west of the 410. Saint-Jean-Pré-Boeuf is east of the 410, so just off of, I think, north of Queen. And then we have St. Monica, which is more central. It's off of Chinguacousy, just between Queen and I want to say Steeles, around there in that vicinity, just to give you an idea of where it is. But go to the boundary maps because they'll give you a more precise location so you can see where those schools are. The final step is the save step. You must save. So save your response when completing the application. You'll see that it will ask you if you want to save your response. Say yes, please save your response. That is your evidence that you have completed the application. So that's really important that you do save that. The other piece that's important to check and to save, to keep for yourself, is your email. So you will receive an email either the day of or 24 hours after. Give it a day or two. You'll receive an email for confirmation of your application submission. So just be cognizant that that's coming into your email. Very, very important that you make sure when you're filling in the application that your email is correct. We've had instances where all it takes is a little like a digit or a letter to be incorrect, and then you don't receive the email. So make sure that you are doing that. Also, make sure to check both your inbox and the junk email, because junk mail, it might, for whatever reason, go into your junk. And so it's important to check both. So if you don't see it in your inbox, go into your junk, make sure it's not there, pull it out, put it into your inbox, and then keep that email for your records. Very important. It's another piece of evidence that you need for yourself in case something happens and you can't find the application. So again, make sure to check that your email is correct. If for any reason you don't receive a confirmation email, please reach out to us. We have our number and extensions on the Dufferin Peel Extended French webpage. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see there's 2 extensions. Either one is fine. Just give us a call and we'll take a look and see if there was maybe some information that was input incorrectly, and that's why you didn't receive it. So very important to check that. Okay, so we're just going to go over those steps one more time with you. So there are those dates again. That's your window. That's your application window. November 19th to December 4th. We always put it up there. And the times we're very strict with that, 9 till 3. So your first step is to visit the Dufferin Peel Catholic District School Board Extended French webpage and to review those boundary maps and feeder schools. So you want to know where your child is going to be going to school. Number 2, you want to download and print that extended French student information sheet. And then number 3, you want to reflect with your child on those skills, on the development of their French or their love of languages and learning, all of those pieces using that reflection tool. And then number 4, you want to apply using the online application from the Extended French webpage. And finally, once you are completing that application, you want to save and keep a copy of the application responses, as well as the confirmation email you will receive. So make sure you do save and keep a copy of those 2 pieces. We also want to just highlight a few more important pieces regarding the application process in terms of siblings. So you may have 2 same age, same grade siblings, twins, for example. And we do get twins every year. So this happens. We just want to remind you that if that is the case, you must submit separate applications. So if you have 2 kids, 2 applications. Okay, so you fill one in, then you fill the other one in. So we require 2 applications. Keep in mind that in the event that a school does go to random selection, we can't guarantee that both will get in, or that if one gets in, the other will get in as well. It can happen where one gets in and one doesn't get in. That's only the case of a random selection. But we can't make those guarantees. The other piece that's really important is if you have a child already in extended French, we cannot guarantee now placement for the next child coming in. We just don't, we follow the same process every year. We want to be equitable and give the opportunity to all students. So we can't guarantee placements of younger siblings in future years. So even if you're applying, if this is your first child going into extended French and you're looking for the program as an option for the next child, your younger child coming in, we cannot guarantee that placement of that younger child. So we just want to be clear and transparent with regard to that. I've been talking about sort of class capacity exceeding the number of applications. So just so you're aware, for one class, the capacity in extended French is 27 students. Now, in schools where the number of applications received is less than that school capacity, so let's say they get 25, let's say, or 24, all of the students will be placed. The school will not need to go to random selection, and you will receive confirmation of that for your child. In schools where, we've had 2 classes approved initially, perhaps, if something happens, if students begin to leave before we begin the program, then the board has the right to cancel that second class in the event that there is the numbers are too low. In some circumstances, there are combined grades that are made so that we can keep those kids in there as well. So they either or could happen, but those are decisions that are made by our planning and our executive councils and so forth. So we don't know until we have our numbers to make those decisions. Okay, but those are our class capacities. We are starting with one class of 27 for every school. In the event that we see that there is far more applications, so let's say there's we have 44, or if we have 54 classes, we may open up another class, but we have to wait until we have those numbers. So the random selection process is what comes into play when we do have more than what the capacity is. So it's only going to happen if we have more than 27 students or applications. So if we've got 35, we're going to have to go to random selection, place 27 of those students, and then the remainder will go on a wait list. If we have, let's say, 66 kids who have applied, and the board sees them and say, you know what, we can do 2 classes, great, but 2 classes only 54. Again, we're going to have to go to random selection, place all those students in 2 classes, and then the remainder would go on a wait list as well. And again, if that is necessary, and I think last year we had 2 or 3 schools, I can't recall exactly, go through random selection. But if that happens, it's going to happen on December 8th again. So make note of that date. For those students who are not placed, there will be a wait list set up for those students who exceed the number if it's greater than the school capacity that they have. And we honor those wait lists until the following year, November progress report. So after we've completed the progress reports and have had interviews, that is when the wait list is no longer valid. But we do honor, because sometimes students leave the program and that'll open up a space. So your child may still have an opportunity, especially if the wait list is quite short, to enter the program. So we will communicate results to schools, and right after we communicate to schools, we're going to communicate those results to you after the random selection is completed. All other parents who did not whose child did not go through random selection will also receive on this date the status of where their child landed in terms of a placement. We do have questions sometimes about the demittance from the program. What happens if I want to remove my child, or what happens if I applied and now I changed my mind? So, and then you decline. So if you do that, if you decline a placement in the grade 5 extended French program, or if your child is already in the program and you decide, you know what, this wasn't the right choice after all, they can be demitted at any time. There's no problem with that. Just let the administrator know what your wishes are. If your child's returning to their home school, because that's typically what would happen, is they return to their home school, please let your other principal know that they're coming back to the school. Usually the schools will communicate, principals will talk to each other as well. And the student would return to their home school. Now, if for any reason you want your child to remain at that school, that would be a conversation with the extended French school principal regarding flex boundaries, and they can, it's at their discretion to decide if you can stay or not. And so that would be a conversation with them. We also get questions about demitting after grade 8. So our extended French program goes on to into high school, into secondary school. But we've had cases where some of those students or their parents no longer wish to continue the program when they go into secondary school. If that is the case, right now we have specific schools with extended French. So Robert F. Hall, St. Aloysius Gonzaga, and Cardinal Leger are the three, and St. Thomas Aquinas in Brampton as well, all have extended French programs. So your child, depending on what extended French elementary school they're at, would go to one of those programs. If they choose to not continue the program, then they would have to return to the secondary school that was attached to their original home school. That's what would happen. However, again, if you want them to go to that extended French school, secondary school, you're going to have to speak to the principal, because that is another flex boundary scenario. So those are conversations to have with the schools if that is something you are inquiring about. But we do want to make you aware of what happens when students are demitted. So the registration. So after you've accepted, you now need to register. Make sure again you respond to the school. We usually say around 5 business days. There should be a response back to the school about your decision to accept or decline the placement. But once you've accepted, you have to register on January 19th. But on or before January 19th, again, if there's extenuating circumstances, please check with the school. Let them know what's happening if you need a few more days. Okay, we can be flexible as well. Now, if you're coming from a Dufferin-Peel Catholic school, so if you're already a Dufferin-Peel student, the only thing you're going to need from your home school to the new school, to the EF school, is the transfer form, okay? So make sure the homeschool principal is aware that you are transferring your child now to the extended French program. If the home school of your child happens to be the extended French school as well, there's really nothing you need to do. The secretary will see that the child has been placed, and they will simply move into the French program in the following school year. So you don't need to do anything there. If you're coming outside of Dufferin-Peel, so if you're a parent who has a child in a different school board or in a private school, and you are now choosing to come to Dufferin-Peel, you will need to follow the standard procedure for admissions into Dufferin-Peel. We have on our Dufferin-Peel website the admissions page. You can find that, and it will have, I think there's an online form that you can fill out, but you are going to be asked for the standard documents that we use when we're registering kids in kindergarten for the first time. So proof of child's age, like a birth certificate, passport, some sort of citizenship card, anything that shows their age, as well as that baptismal certificate. So again, that's either the child, the student, your child, or you, or your significant other, whoever that may be, but one parent should be baptized in the Roman Catholic Church or the Eastern Rite Church. So we will be asking for proof of that, and then proof of immunization from Peel or whichever county you're a part of, or any exemptions that you have. We need all of that. So standard documentation, and again, you can go to the admissions webpage on our Dufferin-Peel site to find more information regarding that. And the schools can also assist you with that piece. So transportation is available for extended French, as we have boundaries for our schools. This, however, is always reviewed on a yearly basis, and it is for students who live the required distance away from the extended French school location. We do always ask you, however, to check with Stop R if you're in Brampton, to ensure, Brampton and Bolton as well, to ensure that your child is eligible. For the most part, they should be if they're within those boundaries. So please do check there. Just type in your address and then choose the extended French program, and it will tell you that. If you live in the Dufferin area, so this is for students planning to go to St. Andrew, you would contact the Wellington Dufferin Student Transportation Services to ensure that you are eligible. And again, with St. Andrew, given it's the only school in Orangeville, yeah, that is usually the case. You will have that transportation to that school, but always good just to check and make sure. In the event that you choose to pursue flex boundary, just so you're aware, we can't guarantee transportation. Okay, so in that case, you may be responsible for your child's to and from school routine. If you're choosing that option. So it's a lot of information, and you may want to review it again. So where can you do that? So this slide deck, as well as the recording of the session, will be going onto the Extended French webpage on our board website. Again, you're going to go to dpcdsb.org. You are going to click on programs, languages, and then extended French. And that's where you're going to find all of this information. On that site as well, on that particular page, you're going to find a video. We really encourage you to watch that video. It talks about the numerous benefits of having another language, of learning to speak French and being functionally bilingual, all the, ways it enhances first language as well, all the literacy skills that it can help develop, the flexibility, the critical thinking, the benefits in the future for your children in terms of job prospects and things like that. So please do watch that video. It also gives you an idea of what the program looks like relative to the French immersion and the core French program. So you can see the number of hours and all that that is provided in the extended French program. So we do encourage you. It's a short video. It's worth the watch. Please do watch it so you get that information as well. Okay, so we are at the end, and we're going to go on to our Q&A session now. We'd like to thank you very much for your interest in the Extended French program here at Dufferin Peel Catholic District School Board. We do hope that you now are closer to making that decision and that it's a yes, that your child will enroll in grade 5 Extended French. It is a magnificent program, a wonderful opportunity for your child to become bilingual in Canada's two official languages, English and French. So we do really hope that this is something that you will consider and definitely go through with. So thank you very much, everyone. We're going to go on to Q&A. At this point, we are going to take your questions in the chat. And if you don't have questions, you're welcome to leave. We wish you all a good evening. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care.